signal inversion, memory, delay, the single acting cylinder control, and the double acting cylinder control, together with the direct actuations and the indirect actuations, once we already have discussed the first discussions that we have in our midterm period. So definitely this is the second slide for midterm, guys. So the first slide was the control system, and the second slide is this basic control circuit for pneumatics, and together with the regulators as well. So that covers everything in our midterm, and with the activities that I have from 1 to 8, and I think I will going to add the regulator after this discussion. Okay, so the kind of activities, and we don't have a quiz yet, so don't you worry, because we can always have two birds in one stone in our midterm examinations. We can always take the part 2 or part 3 as your quizzes for your examinations, and all of the 9 activities that we have, and together with your midterm exam. Okay, so that will cover, and also your attendance. So that will be everything for midterm. So for the flow amplification, guys, so this is the example that we have here is what we did in our indirect and direct actuation. So there are cylinders in a large capacity requires a larger flow of air. So here, the indirect actuations or the direct actuations using the control valve or directional control valve. So we already know that if we're going to use a large capacity of airflow, so we will be using the indirect actuations. Okay, so we have a control valve that will handle that will have the directional control valve which have the large capacity of pressure. Okay, so dili na siya pwede sa direct control, guys. Okay, sa direct control applications or direct actuation, we only have one valve use. But for this flow amplification, we will have it in the indirect actuations. Okay, so since we need to have a middle valve, okay, the control valve in the middle that will have the directional control with our equipment components, which is a cylinder, so that will handle the large capacity of volume of air. So it is unsafe to manually operate a pneumatic directional control valve with large flow capacity. Instead, we should first operate manual in a small control valve, the use of pneumatic control system with large flow capacity. So in the figure, guys, you see there, so the manual control that we have is we're using the 3-way valve. Okay, so that is for the small flow capacity. So once the air is getting to that valve already, it goes to a mechanically actuated using the another 3-way, or it could be also another 5-way control valve. So this is called flow amplification, which can greatly ensure the safety of the operators. And during operation, valves with large flow capacity should be placed near the cylinder, and while the valves with smaller flow capacity should be placed on the control boards, and some of the distance some control board some distance away. Then the figure below, or on the figure you see here, shows the basic flow amplification of the circuit, and notice the difference of the components placed on the different levels. Okay, so using the double acting cylinder that we have in our indirect actuation, guys. So you notice that we have a 3-way valve as our manual control, and it will be mechanically actuated used on the 5-way valve with the use of the double acting cylinder. Okay, so the flow of the amplifications, the flow application system is the control of the flow of the pressure from the smaller capacity control valve to a large capacity of pressure. Okay, next. So for the flow amplification, so you see there the direct control of the cylinder and the indirect control of the cylinder. Now guys, this is like a the video that you will be seeing here is the actual this is what we did with Sir Docs, one of our pneumatic instructors also in mechatronics. So we actually have a simulation in our laboratory, and there is also a discussion of how it is done. Okay, so kung napalang tayo laboratory ron, so this is what you're going to do in our laboratory. Kay wala man, so we did it in behalf. Then you can see it how it will be done. So once you will be in the laboratory, so I don't know if we can still have the chance, guys. The face-to-face, but definitely second sem or nanagin na siya kuha. So for the direct control of the cylinder, this is how it will be done in our laboratory. So I don't know kung ma-play ba siya. Ni-play siya, ni-play.
Banta mo, may kanta.
So you see here the single acting cylinder. This is the one that we will be using for the direct actuation. So you have there the supply port that is for the schematic of the single acting cylinder, and also the spring and the vent hole. So this is the 3-2-way valve that we will be using. So below it you can see the schematic diagram of the 3-2-way valve. So you see there the two ports, guys. So we only use port 1 and port 2. Okay, so you see that blue button on the top, that's port 1, and the blue button at the bottom, that's port 2. So port 1 is for the pressure and port 2 is for the actuation. Okay, so we have also there the push button switch on the valve, and it will be back with the use of the spring return. So that's the truth table of the direct actuation. So you will see there, this is our laboratory, guys, where we have the board for the experiment that we will have for the exercises that we do. So on the truth table, guys, you will see there, if you input 0, then the output is also 0. And if you input 1, then the output is also 1. So that means if we turn on the push button switch, then we will have the output also. And if it's off, then the output is off as well. So it has the same input and same output. So on the board right now is the 3-2-way valve and the single acting cylinder. So you see here, guys, so since we will be using a port number 2 for the actuation, so we will be connecting a pipe from port number 2 to the input of the our single acting cylinder. And one here is connected to our pressure. So you will see there the pressure, that's the regulator or the pressure that will regulate the pressure of the coming in from our air compressor. So you see there, once the button is pushed, then you will see it is actuating. Okay, so tanan yung mga air pressure, guys, na ginasay ka ng pressure control. Okay, so makita nato kung pila ang hangin ang mugawas, then ato sa nang ma-adjust. Okay, then we can turn it off or turn it on. So that is for the direct actuation for single acting cylinder. But right now, what we will be having, or what you're seeing right now, is the double acting cylinder. Okay, so you see there the extended port and the retract port. So retract meaning balik, extended meaning mugawas. Okay, and using the 5-2-way valve. Okay, so port 2 is connected to the retract port, and port 4 is connected to the extended port. And the port 1 is on the pressure of our air. Then we will have port 5 and 3, that is for our exhaust. So meaning we need to, once number 2 is actuated, then going back to number 4, we need to exhaust the air at number 3. Okay, and once this 4 is working, we need to exhaust the air at number 5. So that means it has the same truth table, guys. So if we're going to input 0, the output is also 0. So if the 352 wave valve is off, then the output is also off. And if it's 1, if it's pushed, then that means we also have 1 as the output. Okay. So this is the schematic diagram, guys, and this is also the schematic diagram that you will be drawing, have in your exercises. Okay, so ako na nanatag ninyo klaro, guys, maybe go for those people that who actually watch the video that I attached, so katod mas kanang namang gani mo difficulty to see it, but this time around it's already clear enough for the schematic diagram for the circuit. Pneumatic circuit, I mean, schematic diagram or sa computer gihapon. Wala nakita din. Let's see. Okay. So wala man gani nakita ang iyahang kuan, guys, depende magud sa pag-copy sa video, but don't you worry, because if you're going to visit our Google Classroom, you see there the materials that I posted already for the basic pneumatic control circuit, but also all of the videos that I have included here in my slide is also there. Also, I attached the link there for the YouTube video. You can follow Sir Dakulana for more videos in terms of pneumatics, okay? For the control, how we're going to do other experiments on the other topics that we will be having for the semifinals and finals. So everything will be there. So just follow him and check on the videos, okay? So this is for the indirect control. So using the and again the single acting cylinder and a 3-2-way valve. So another 3-2-way valve piloted. Okay, so this is for the direct actuation already. So what you see here, guys, this is already the schematic circuit. So this is what you're going to see. This is what you're going to have in your schematic circuit and your exercises. So you will see here how it will be done. So you see the connection from the one valve to the other. So again, all the pressure port for the 2 valve, it should always be connected to the air compressor, okay, para work. Okay, so you see there the port number 2 for another piloted 3-2-way valve. It should be connected to your cylinder. Okay, you see there, guys, how it is done. So kana siya. So muna siya na sa atuang laboratory. So now, let's see for the double acting cylinder. So it's now using the 5-2-way valve for the piloted valve that is connected to our double acting cylinder. So you see there, guys, port 4 of the piloted 5-2-way control valve should be connected to the port 4 for the the extraction will be connected to 2 and the retract will be connected to 4. you can see it here, guys. This is port 4 of this pneumatic valve, and it should be connected to this port here for the retraction, going back to the normal position. And this port 2 is connected to extraction, so meaning going ang rod niya mugawas. Okay? So make sure that dili ra kaning valve, 5-way valve, but also this 3-way valve is both connected to your pressure air, for your air compressor. Okay? So make sure sa inyong drawing nga nakakonect din na siya, kay kung wala ni dire symbol for the air pressure, meaning wala na siya nakakonect. So kanirang usa, so meaning if kanirang usa nga valve ang mo-connect, so dili ra kutob ang air pressure, wala na dire. Kay dili ni siya mo work, wala may supply. Okay? So kung wala supply, meaning dili mao yung circuit, guys. So make sure you have all the label. Okay?
Ang clear for exercise, so kung ito'y daan circle.
Okay, so turning on the air compressor.
Kaning dot, di ba?
Air. So there. That's how it works. So, yan na. Wala na. So kung sa ganina, guys, wala man ni show. So katong ganina is kaniran duha. Then wala na ni siyang straight-away sa direct actuation. So from this one, it goes directly to number 1 here to air pressure, so our air compressor. And then we have the 2, that's the port 2 connected to the extraction, and port 4 that's connected to the retraction, retract. Okay? And port 1 is for your air pressure. Okay? So there. So for the signal inversion, so I already have discussed this on the video that I have attached, but for the definition, so a pneumatic diagram for signal acting and double acting cylinder shows directional control valves that can be switched. So when operating, control valve in a single acting cylinder is automatically eject on the cylinder once pushed, and cylinder will be set to off. At the same time, double acting cylinder, once primary valve is on, then it will remain to a normal position, but if it's off, it will be actuate. Okay, so this one, guys, so this one is connected to a normally open 3-way valve. Okay, so if you notice, ang iyahang port number 1 is nakakonect ang iyahang air pressure. Okay, so sa normally closed, this is a normally closed valve, this one here on a double acting. So you can see there, ang iyahang port 1 is naka-off pa. So you need to push the button to actuate to number 2. Okay? But this one, naka-connect na siya sa number 2. Okay? So this is a normally open. So once the pressure is on na, guys, once the air pressure is on, that means inig-onan na, wapa ni mo gi-push ang button, kaya naka-connect naman siya sa number 2, daan, which is a open port. The air will go directly, so the air will go directly and it will actuate. Okay? So it will extract, it will extract the rod while the button is still on. Okay? Wala pa na push while the button is still off. Okay? But if you're going to push the button, if you're going to turn it off, it will going to retract. Okay? Mubalik siya sud. Okay? So that's why it says excuse me. That's why it says signal inversion. It's because while it is on, off ang imong cylinder. Then if off nini siya, on ang imong cylinder. Okay? So bali siya. Same as here, if you notice, reverse niya ang connection. Supposed to be the retract port is connected to port 4. And the extract port is connected to number 2. Okay? So kay bali man ta, once we turn this one on, off siya, si number 2 ang mo function. And kung ato ni siyang i-off, ang number 4 mo function, which is mo extract. Okay? So if you notice, bali ang ilahang connection. So if you're going to draw it, guys, make sure you have a half circle here. So make sure ni jump na siya sa line. Kaya kung imo na siyang i-cross, guys, that means it is connecting to the line. So ma-short ka. Okay? Dili na siya mo-work. So make sure if you're going to draw your pneumatic circuit, it should have a half circle here to make sure nga jumper na siya. Okay? So this is an example of a single acting cylinder using a signal inversion with a 3-2-way normally open control valve, and this is also a double acting. This is an example of the indirect control of double acting cylinder, but just switching on the 2 ports here para bali ang iyahang output. Ato ning i-push off ni siya, ato ni siya ang i-off ni na to siya, then on ni siya. Okay? So bali siya, bali ang signal inversion. So this is the video that we have for the signal inversion. Okay, so objective is to apply signal inversion. I have the link posted here, guys. Okay, so switch status is off, and cylinder status, once the status is on, retract siya, meaning balik iyahang rod susod. So this is like a not logic functions. So this is another logic functions also. Okay? So when the input is true, the output is false, and when the input is false, the output is true. So in a truth table, guys, if the input is 0, the output is 1, and if the input is 1, the output is 0. That's for the truth table. Okay? So using a single acting cylinder and a normally open 3-2-way valve. NO, guys, stands for normally open, and C for normally closed. So this is the truth table, guys. So once it is 0, if it's false, the output is true, which is 1. And once the input is 1, which is true, the output is false, which is 0. So there, applying air, turning it on, it goes directly. The status is on. And if you're going to push the button, if it's 0, the output is 1. Now for the double acting cylinder, using a 3-2-way valve, which is normally closed na ang valve, ani guys ha. Kaya ang ato nga ning gibuhat ani is ato ring gibali ang port sa 5-2-way. Okay? When we have this 0, input is 0, output is 1, and if the output is 1, the input is 1, the output is 0. So kana siya ganina sa ato ang indirect, so giharang bali. Okay? Gibalira niya ganina sa ato ang double acting cylinder using a indirect control. So see, kapag niya gi-off, naka-on na siya daan. So iyang i-push ang button is mo retract siya. Okay? So naka-extract na daan siya once the pressure is on. So that's for the signal inversion. So for the memory function, guys, so memory is a common basic function. It can keep a component at a certain state permanently until there is a change of signal. So the figure you see there at the left, at the side, shows the memory function circuit when a control valve 1 is operated momentarily. So this is the 1 here, the control valve 1, and this is the 2. So that if that is pressed on a short time, the output signal is on the 5-2-way directional control valve will be set to on. And the signal stay that until the control valve 2 is operated, and momentarily generates the signal to the replace and causing at permanently at off. Okay? So this one, guys, this button here, this is the control valve for on. Now, this is the control valve for off. Okay? So, using this, if you're going to turn this one on by pushing this button, the double acting cylinder will extract and it will remain extract in the same position, naka-extract siya, okay? Because that's under the memory of the process of the of this particular circuit. Okay? So, kaya naka-on pa man siya, so muna siya perminti niya i-process, kaya muna siya naka-store. Okay, so muna siya ang naka-pilot daan. So that's using the pilot 14, which is the 1 to 4 or 1 to 4 ports of the 5-way valve. Okay, because this one, the pilot 12 is 1 to 2. Okay, which is from port 1 to port 2 only. Okay, so meaning this one here, if it's pressed on, it will remain on. Okay, and that will be on the memory of the control circuit. But once it is interrupt siya by pushing the off button here, that will replace what's in the memory and it will be retract. The rod will retract. It will go back. Okay? Bigay mo na siya yung position. It will using the 1 to 2 port man of the 5-way valve. And port 2 here is the retraction. And port 4 here is the extraction. Okay? Muna siyang gitawag niya siya guys og 1 to 2 because it is operating ports 1 up to 2. Okay, it's piloted to 1 up to 2 ports. It is using here a 1 to 4 piloted because it is using from 1 to 4 since the extraction here of the rod is until 4. Okay? Nya kaniman siya nag-hold sa 4 nga ports kay kaniman siya ang muhatag og on button. Okay? Ang port 4 is on man, magawas man. It is extraction. And port 2 here is the retraction. Okay? So, simple kay memory function, guys, or what we call din a piloted port. Okay? So, if it's on, kanina siya, na kung dili na nimo siya hilabta, kung dili na nimo ilabta ng off, mag-remain na siya on. And once it is off, it will remain off. Okay? That is under the memory function. And this is also the schematic diagram that you will be having under memory function. And all you need to do is to write down your conclusion and your observation. So this is how it is done in our circuit board using those devices or components. So you have there the double acting cylinder for the 2 ports here for the extended and the retract port, and using the 5-way valve, which is normally closed, and also the double piloted valve, which is the 5-way valve. Okay, so that is pneumatically actuated. So using the valve, the control valve that we have here in both on and off button, so once it's on, it will automatically actuate the 5-way valve. So you see here, this is the 5-way valve, this is the double acting cylinder, and this is the 2 normally closed 3-way valve. So dili mo malibog ani guys kay ang kaning valve ng 5-way valve, it has port number man sa iyang hole. Makita mo asa ang hole sa port 2 ug asa ang hole sa port 4 ug asa ang hole sa port 1. Okay? Para sa inyong air pressure. So makita ra ninyo sa inyong sa valve. So munang dali ra kay labeled man siya. Okay? Labeled man siya. So kani ang usa po di-connect niyo mo sa pressure. So there. Okay? So ang valve sa nimo i-connect sa nimo sa 5-way valve, i-connect mo sa pressure. So tulo nakabuk ang pressure diha. Okay? So kung off na, i-off na siya. Kung i-on po nimo sa pikas, on po siya. On. On na rin siya. Hindi na siya mabalik because that's in the memory man. So, kung imo ilisan, lain, mo na siya off. Okay? So, hindi pariha sa ato ang port nga. Itong i-release, palit na siya, mo retract siya sa other functions that we have. Okay? So, we have also delay function, guys. guys. Now on the delay functions, so this is also part of your exercises. So you have the on signal delay and the off signal delay. So if a pneumatic circuit, delay circuit can be delayed on the operating time to the next control valve. And its principle of operation involves the use of orifice or slow down the airflow of control and time for pneumatic operation. So what we do, guys, for the on and off delay is we input a timer that is normally closed, using a normally closed timer for us to delay the on and off signal. Okay. Now for the on signal delay, guys, so the figure you see here, so you see here a double acting cylinder, and a double acting cylinder, you see here the 5-way valve. Okay, and then again, this is our on button here, and this is the off button here. So in the on button for the 3-way valve, it is connected to a timer. Okay, so the timer, the use of the timer, guys, is to delay the extraction of the rod in this 5-way and in this double acting cylinder. Okay? Now, lahi po siya sa off delay, it's the other way around. Now, for the off delay is you need to put the timer on the off button. Okay? Mo man ang off button na to. Okay? So, once we push the off button here to retract the rod, it will have a delay of few seconds. Okay? So, depende sa inyong time nga inyong giset. Okay? And delaying the extraction and the retraction. For the off delay, it's delaying the retraction of the rod, and on the on delay, it's delaying the extraction of the rod. Okay, so that's how it is done. Now, for the example for that, you will see this on the video. Okay, so using this components that what you see on the pneumatic circuit that I showed you a while ago for both on and off, and this is the timer that we have used to delay the on or the off. So you see there, guys, makaset ka og time pila ka seconds nimong i-off. Okay, so makaset ka kung 5 seconds ba, okay, 10 seconds ba, 20. Okay, so maset na nimo diha. But this time, we are delaying the on for 5 seconds lang. Okay? So there, so since ang timer, guys, is naman siya 3-way valve, you see here what's inside the timer is also a 3-way valve. So make sure you are connecting this also to the right port. Okay? So you see there, the port 1 is connected to the port 2 here on the first valve. Okay? So bali muna siya, supply niya sa air, pressure niya. Okay? So this one also, the port 2 is connected to the piloted port 14 for the 5-way valve. Okay? So you only have 2 connection for the timer, guys. Ang connection sa timer is pag delay lang ang sud sa air going to the 5-way valve. Okay? So what is connected to the air pressure is only 3 still. Okay? Atong 5-way valve o atong duha ka 3-way valve. Okay? So everything is now connected. So once the pressure is on, and once we push the button for the on, so you can see there, you can count 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then it will extract the cylinder. Okay? That is the on delay for 5 seconds. Okay? Kaya depende man sa imuhang, okay, so we need to push the off button for us to retract the rod. And right now, pressing the push button here, and of course, since we're having a 5 seconds delay, we keep di na siya ni mo press, guys, para siya mo delay. Kaya imo na siyang buhian, wapang nahuman na niyahang time, kay di na siya mo extract. Okay? So you keep on holding it for 5 seconds para mo extract ang rod. Okay? So turn off the button to turn it off.
Inig parang retract siya, one push, one kuha na siya na.
There, for 5 seconds. then push the button to turn it off. Okay? So there. So for the off delay, guys, so we're just moving the timer to the other way, okay? Which is the off button na to siya gibutang. Okay? So pwede na to siya move guys sa atong laboratory. Okay? Pwede na to na siya ma-move ang atong mga board, atong mga components depende kung asa nimo ibutang. Okay? Mo kung ano na siya sa ato ang board, circuit board. Okay? There. So, giuna niya ang connection sa time first and the rod. Okay, that you see it on the other way, then going to the off button. So that's connected to port number 2, and port number 1 is connected to our air pressure. So there, so mga pressure na lang ang wala ani na connect. Yeah. So make sure guys na sakto inyong pneumatic circuit ha, pag drawing na pressure, air pressure tanan, naka-connect. The triangle one is for your exhaust valve. Okay? Para ma-exhaust ato ang hangin na nakapundo para dili maapektuhan ang atong circuit. So there, once we turn it on guys, so kung ato on, ma-extract dayon. But atong i-push ang kaning usa ka button to turn it off, it will take 5 seconds first before it will go back. Okay? So it's delaying the off now. Okay? So again, turn it on, and if we push the off button, it will delay the extraction, the retraction of the rod. There. Okay? So muna siya ang sa delay functions using the off delay functions and the on delay functions. Now we have also the OR functions guys. So this is the logic part, the OR and the OR and the AND. Okay? So we don't have video yet on this, but this is just very simple man sad good nga circuit. Okay? So the single acting cylinder, so ano ni siya guys, if you will using the truth table, okay? So the truth table for OR functions guys, okay? Ang OR guys, nag-represent na siya, so mathematical pa na siya nga operations that represents the addition. Okay? So meaning, if we have here, dito na ito siya dire. So if we have here on the truth table, guys, if we have X and Y, so the output here, so this is the input. So the output here is, mathematical expression is addition man. So for the input X and Y, the output here is X plus Y. Okay? So in the truth table, guys, using 0 and 1 only, okay, mura man na ato ang gamit, guys. 0 is off, 1 is on. Mura man na sa ato ang circuit sa pneumatics. Okay? Wala man tayo laing another operations. But if you're going to add, lahi po siya ang addition for decimal numbers, ha? Lahi po ang addition using the electronics. So what we are using here is electronics man ta. So we only have involved 1 and 0, and the output is only 1 ra, either 0 or 1. Okay? So in the OR, guys, in the OR functions, if we have here input 0, Y is 0, X is 0, so output is 0. 0 plus 0, 0 man. But if X is 1 and Y is 0, then the output is always 1. Because any of the input is 1 or both of the input is 1, then the answer ginaanak is 1. Okay? So we can only have 0 here if we can only have no output at all if there's no input in X and there's no input in Y. Okay? If this is 0, this is 1, the output is 1. If both are 1, then output is 1 still. So this is the truth table for the OR functions. Okay? So in this OR functions, guys, so this is the OR schematic circuit. Schematic circuit. So you can see there, guys, the 0 here, that's the one that is blocking the port for the air to come in. So this one here represents the input A, X, and this one is the input Y. Now, if this is 0, guys, if this is 0, so that means we are not pushing the button. And if this is 0 also, that means we're not pushing the button. So that means if all of them is off, then definitely we don't expect any output at all because there's no input. Now, if input 1, if this X here is on, then the Y is off. So ang mahitabo, guys, iksud sa hangin diri kaning 0, kaning circle diri nga nag-block sa hangin, mudagan na siya padung diri sa number 2. So igdagan, igbali niya sa number 2, guys, igbali niya sa 0 sa pikas, so ang hangin makadagan diri sa tunga padung dira, and it will extract the rod. Now, if this is off, if switch 1 is off and switch 2 is on, so if on na to ani musud ang hangin diri, so ang kani kung if ever atong ang circle is na diri dapita, mudagan na siya dinhi tunga, mudagan na siya diri pikas, and then it will magawas gyapon ang hangin diri padung tunga, and it will still on. Now, if both of this button is pushed, ang mahitabuan na ang kaning circle diri nga nag-block either way, anhi na siya magstay sa tunga, guys. So kung sa tunga siya magstay, so meaning makasudratan na ng hangin both 1 and 2 padung sa babaw. Okay? So that's how it is done. Okay? So make sure, so this is already your OR functions schematic circuit. Pneumatic circuit. So all you need to do is make a correct label on the equipment. I already discussed that on the video that I have attached, so which is label 1.0, 1.1, and make sure that all of the arrows here are labeled as well. Okay? There, that's for the OR. And for the unfunctions, guys, for the unfunctions is different. Okay? Because on the lahi mo na tong schematic diagram. For the OR functions, it is using the operation and mathematical operation plus. For the AND, guys, it is using the mathematical operation of multiplication. Okay? So meaning 1 times 1. So 0 times 0, the output is 0. Now, if output X is 1 and there is 0 on the Y, so 1 times 0, that is always 0. Now, if there is 0 output in X, 1 output in Y, the output is also still 0. Now, the only time that you will have an output that is extracting if there is an input in 1 in the first button, which is X, and the input 1 also in the second button, which is Y. Okay? Now, if you're going to take a look on the pneumatic circuit of unfunctions, guys, is like this. Okay? So meaning, kung imo ni siyang i-push ang button diri sa 1, guys, so ang mahitabo, kaning line diri, guys, kaning siyang line diri is matungod na siya dinha. Okay? However, kung matungod na siya dinha, dili gina siya matungod. So, meaning, dili kasud. Kaya we need to make sure nga this one is parallel gini silang duha, usa pa makasud ang hangin padung sa babaw. Okay? Now, kung kani po na i-push ang button dinhi, so kani siya matungod dinhi, pero kani siya gawas diri. Okay? So, gawas dinhi, so meaning, di gyapon ta kakuha og output. So, if we're going to push both button, so ang mahitabo, ingani na siya diri, guys. So, ang mahitabo niya, if we're going to push the both buttons, so kumuni siya diri ang iyang connection, padung sa diha. So, ang i-push nimo dinhi, so mahitabo, maana na siya, guys. Okay? So, that will be the output here. So, that's the time it will extract the rod. Okay? So, that gitawag na siya og unfunctions. Okay? So, that's the circuit diagram for unfunctions. So, make sure you label it properly. Okay? Which, and also with the control valve that we have. Okay? So that's for the AND function. Now for speed regulation in pneumatic system, guys, we have two. We have the throttle valve and the one-way flow control valve. Now for the throttle valve, guys, the flow control action can be operative in both directions. So this is an example. This is the pneumatic circuit of a throttle valve. So you have here in A and B. Now you could have A as input, guys. You can also have B as output, or the other way around, B as input and A is an output. Okay? You can see here. Now, in the throttle valve, guys, pwede nimo ma-adjust ang air. Okay? Either 45%. So, if always remember nga every input that we have, kung mo input man ganitag, no matter pila na ka bar or PSI atong gi-input nga pressure, we always consider that as 100%. Okay? Now, kung mong gamit ta og throttle valve, guys, ang gamit sa throttle valve is either atong pagamayon ang pressure nga magawas sa hangin, dili na 100%. We can always set the throttle valve in any percentage, guys. We can have it 0, we can have it 45%, we can have it 50%. Okay? So that is on the function nga needed sa imong process or sa imong operation nga di ka na kinahanglan og pareha nga kadaghan sa gi-input nimo nga hangin or pressure. Okay? So kung kinahanglan nimo sa imong within the process that you're using nga need ra ka og katunga ra sa imong gi-input nga pressure, that's why you need to use a throttle valve. Okay? This is one of the speed regulation. Okay? Mo regulate siya sa speed nga imong gihatag. So we can set it 0, we can set it 50, 45, or even 100%. Okay? So here, if the input is A is 100, then you can set the output of B is also 50. Okay? If you set the throttle to 50. Now, if you're going to use port B as your input 100%, then definitely output A is your output. I mean, port A is your output, and that is where you get the 50% if you set the throttle valve to 50%. So, gitawag na siya flow control, guys, action, because it can be operative in both direction. You can have A as input, B as your output, or B is your input and A is your output. Okay? That's for the throttle valve. Now, for one-way flow control valve, okay, so natay lahi. Okay? Because the one-way control valve, guys, it has two components. Okay? One component here is the throttle valve that we have already discussed, and the other component here is the check valve. Okay? And it is connected in a parallel connection. Silang duha. Okay? So, what will happen here is if you're going to input, okay, so we'll see first what's the use of the check valve. Okay, so this is how check valve. Okay, kailan naman tas throttle valve and how the throttle valve operate. Okay, so lahi ang check valve, guys. So if you're going to input here air pressure and A, guys, so nakalock gina siya dapat sa B. So if ever you're going to put air pressure here, di gina siya kagawas. Okay, di gina siya kagawas because kay iyang check valve is ingan naman gina siya, so adto man dyan na naka-block sa B, di man na pwede nga naka-block sa A. Now if atong balihon ari pud ta, so meaning, guys, if we're going to input 100% on the of the port A, ang mogawas na niya 0% yun, kay naa man daan ang iyahang block daan sa port B. Okay, but kung atong balihon nato ari ta input sa port B, og brush of air, so mudagan pa man na siya, idagan niya, gusto na nga makagawas ang iyahang output. Okay, so meaning, guys, if we're going to input A to B, okay, input A go output to B, then we will have 0 output. But if you're going to input B to A, so input ang B, output of A is we will have 100% output. Okay? So that is how check valve do. Now, nakaparallel man ni siya, guys. Nakaparallel man ni siya sa throttle valve. Now, if we're going to set throttle valve at 45%, and if we're hangin diri. So that means in this setup, walay gamit ang check valve. Okay? So that means ang mo-activate ra ang throttle valve. Now karon, reset man nato ang throttle valve into 45%. So that means ang atong output is 45% ra. Okay? But then again guys, kung baliho na to, arita sa mag-input sa number 2, padung diri sa output sa number sa number 1. So even if we set 45% ra ang hangin na makagawa sa throttle valve, but then again we are running in the opposite direction for the check valve. So meaning we can always get 100% output because we are in the opposite direction of the check valve. So makagawas ra ang kung 45% ra si throttle iya ipagawas, but then again si check valve iya ipagawas ang uban diri sa iya ha para mahimong 100% ang output. Okay? So that means it allows free flow in one direction, which is from 2 to 1, and control flow in the other direction, which is 1 to 2. So if input is 1, output is 2, the output is controlled. And if number 2 is input, output is 1, it will have a free flow of air. So meaning 100% input, 100% output. Okay? So that's how the one-way flow control valve do. Okay? So this is an example guys. So nagamit ni og kanang software using in plotting the connection.
One-way control.
So you will see how it is done.
Si tuturuan.
So here, so nagkuha siya og
Sa timer ba?
double acting cylinder. Okay, so we will have the indirect actuations. Okay, using the indirect actuations guys for both double acting cylinder. But here, what we use is the other cylinder is connected into a throttle valve and the other one is connected to a one-way flow control valve. Okay, so this is a one-way flow control valve and this one is the throttle valve. Okay, so it is connected guys on the extraction. Okay, and we will use the 5-2-way valve here and the 5-2-way valve and one 3-2-way. So ato lang gibuhat ani is gi-series lang ni nato ang duha ka connection diri duha ana. So meaning inig-on nato duha usa-usa ra nitong gigamit kay ato naman i-notice kung unsay function sa check valve o unsay function sa throttle valve. I mean sa one-way flow control valve and the throttle valve. Okay? So ayan gibuhat guys, kani niya giset niya into a pneumatic actuation. So meaning inig-push na to sa button sa number 3-2-way valve at the bottom, it will pneumatically actuated this valve here. Okay? So pneumatically actuated with a spring return. Okay? So kani siya gi-connect with the lines. Okay? Make sure that gi-connect sa niya sa pressure para naay hangin mo gawas. Okay, so port 4 here, the extraction is connected to a throttle valve and the other one here is the extraction connected to a one-way flow control valve. So this is the schematic circuit that you will be using guys or that you will be having for your exercise number 9. Okay, so here you can see how it will work. Tanawa guys, kung kani siya, we are using the port 1 to 2 here. So, ang ato ang extraction ani is we will set the throttle valve into 50% lang sa. So, you will see there. Kanin siya guys, iyang gibuhat is normally ejected wala pa nakaset ang valve ani. Okay? So, pushing the button, eject ka na diretso. So, this is for the direct control. I-push po nato, mabalik. Okay? So, ang gibuhat na niya is, karon iya iset na ang throttle valve into 50%. Same as the one-way flow control. So, yan ang giset. Yan ang giset to 50. Ang other one sa yan giset to 50. Okay? So, you will see the difference niya once it is ejected. So there, yan na i-on. So see, you can see the 50% actuation, hinay. Hinay siya. Pero, you see, okay? So kakita mo guys, pag eject, pag push the button, silang duha, dungan sila at 50%. Kaya gisat man nato si throttle at 50%, gisat sa nato si one-way flow control valve at 50%. So hinay ra ang flow sa air at 50%. So hinay, nagdungan silang duha, hinay og extract. Now, when the button is pushed again for the retract, hinay pod siya kay ang throttle man natong gigamit, okay? So remember sa throttle guys, kung nagset ra ta sa 50, so meaning igbalik ana at 50% ra gihapon. Mo nang hinay ra. But then again, sa one-way flow control valve, always remember nga padung sa extraction 100%, but then again naka-block man ang check valve and we are only setting the throttle at 50%, so wanang hinay po niyang gawa sa output at 50%. But once we turn it back on, kanina po ng atong input, kanina po ng atong output, so pas-pas ra. Once we push the button, dali ra ang retract. Okay? Kaya at 100% man ta working. Lahi man sa throttle guys, if we set it at 40, output is 40 sad. Okay? So same at if we're going to input 100% here at B, output ana 50 sad. So meaning 50 ra sad percent iyang pagbalik, 50% iyang pag-extract, 50% iyang retract. Okay? Dili pareha sa throttle nga i-input niya 50% ra ang work kay ang naka-disable man ang check valve, so 50% ang extract, pag abot sa retract 100% iyang dagan. Okay? So mo na siya guys ang diferensya sa duha. Okay? So here. So giset. There. So you see, pareha silang duha, dungan.
3 hours.
But for the retraction, lahi ang one-way flow control valve. It is running at 100%. So balik siya dayon. Di pareha sa throttle nga at 50% still. Okay? So there. So for safety measures guys, when using a pneumatic control, so there are actually 12 things that you need to consider. So number 1, compressed air can cause serious damage of human body and they enter on the through ducts like an oral cavity or ears sa tanang mga buslot sa atuang lawas. So once na madirect na ang compressed air, so it will actually have it will provide serious damage. And when doing this on the laboratory, you'd never spray compressed air into anyone, so di na siya duwaan. And under high pressure, compressed air can pass through human skin. Okay? Kaya namin din yung mga buslot ang ato ang mga skin. But then again, even if once na siya kagamay, once the air that is in high temperature is coming to it, it will really cause or go through with our sa mga balat na to. Okay? And compressed air released from the exhaust contains particles or oil drops which can cause damage to eyes, okay? Especially if we're not using filters or moisturizers, so there are particles or droplets yun, okay? So, nandiligin niya siya duwaan, guys. Now, even though the pressure of the compressed air and the air pipes have reservoir, it is relatively low when the containers loses its entirely, first explosion may still occur. Okay? And before switching an compressed air supply unit, one should thoroughly inspect the whole circuit to see if there is any loose part, abnormal pressure, or damaged pipes. It is an SOP, guys, that before we're going to use all those components in our active exercises in our laboratory, we need to make sure always that all the components are in good condition and there is no damage, especially that blue thing that's connected, we called it the air pipes. Okay, so we need to make sure that that has no damage or loose part, okay, or even holes on it, okay, so that dili abnormal ang ato ang pressure nga gihatag sa ato ang mga components. Now, a loose pipe may shake violently because dili naman normal ang air niya, nakagawas naman ang uban because of the hole, okay, to high pressure built inside it. Therefore, each time before the system pressure is increased, thorough inspection of the entire circuit is required to prevent accidents. And as a force produced by pneumatic cylinders is relatively large, the action is usually very fast, so you may suffer serious injury once you get hit by a cylinder. So ayaw ginadua-duwai nga imong mata itungo diha kay wala buslot gina, okay? And switches should be installed on the compressed air supply unit to allow easy and speedy control of airflow, and in case of leakage, the compressed air supply unit should be turned off immediately, and the compressed air supply unit must be turned off before changes can be made in the system. So always remember guys, kung mag-change ta og mga control valve in between, so ayaw lagi naghulbuta lang, then pagkahuman ilisi na, okay? So maghadjong ginang hangin diyang nakasud sa imuhang air pipe. So make sure nga imo gina siyang gi-off sa any changes within the circuit. You need to make sure nga automatic jud ang imong kamot mo off sa air compressor, okay? And in case of leak, and compressed air supply unit should be turned off immediately, and the compressed air supply unit must be turned off before changes be made in the system. Then stay clear by moving parts of the system, and never try to move the driving parts into a mechanical operated valve within your hand, okay? So make sure it is clamped gina siya guys, kaya makalock man na, kaya i-clamp man gina nato sa ato ang circuit board, okay? Muna atong circuit board, nanay mga linya-linya diha, kaya ato ang mga valve nga gigamit o atong mga components sa mga cylinder nga gipanggamit, okay? All the equipments natin panggamit guys, kaya na siya clip dito nga adto dyan na siya ngadto nato ibutang sa nato paandaron, dili nato paandaron while we are holding it, okay? So make sure this safety measure guys is actually followed once you will have the face-to-face and having the exercises in our laboratory. Okay, so that's it for me today, guys. Do you have any questions? Any questions, guys?
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes, Renilyn.
Kato bitang sa throttle valve, ma'am. Naka-connect ba to siya sa timer sad? Kay katong sa previous ni mga video gipatan-aw ma'am, ba katong sa explanation sa exercise kanang 5 to 8 ay sa tong exercise. Kay ang kuan ato, ang timer kay ang ato man ang drawing, throttle ug perma.
Ang katong nasa timer lang ga, ang katong nasa timer is built into siya nga components inside the timer. So full package to siya sa timer. Okay? So ang katong timer nga atong ipakita sa explanation is motor circuit, pneumatic circuit sulod sa timer. So sa timer na reservoir, na throttle valve. That's not a throttle valve, it's a one-way flow control valve with a 3-2-way valve. Okay? So muna siya ang mga components na naasulod sa ato ang timer. So mo sa to siya iyang gamiton guys for delaying sa imuhang on baron or sa imong off or any other procedure nga process nga imuhang gamitan sa imuhang timer. Okay? So wala to ang kaning nga throttle nga atong gigamit ron guys, this is separate lang gid siya as throttle valve and a one-way flow control valve. Okay? Ang naa sa timer is a 3-2-way component, a reservoir, and also the one-way flow control valve. Okay? So lahi to siya guys. So do not mind about it, kay nato siya built into siya sud sa timer mo to siya ang pneumatic circuit sud sa timer. Okay?
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome. Yes, Rafa.
Excuse me, ma'am. Is it gone off topic and siya, pero is it different sa katong FRL? Di na siya mao, ma'am.
FY, unsa lang ga? FY.
FRL. Katong FRL.
Unsa na FRL gani lang ga.
Katong filter regulator.
Kamu ba ilig lagi kayo mga ingana. Ako may maluding ko parehas kong anak ron ganang no sa tuwing ng maestra nga any question kuha na lang so ang isulti na lang kay sana not so far NSF na lang NSF. Kamu guys may na kayo mga ingana guys no. So, lahi, bitaw taga, mo na lang ko lang gaha, kaya wako na anan, bitaw nga na lang, mo na mag-loading ko lang gawin, okay, so, ang katong filter guys, lahi sa to siya gamit, ate, ang katong filter na to, regulator, ato to siya na to, i-connect sa ato ang air compressor. So, if you notice, sa katong video ni Sir Dax, nga gipakita, when he turn on the air compressor, so nangat to ang atong regulator para mo check sa atong air pressure nga nigawas. Then nasa na to atong filter, so katong tube nga naangat to. So adto na to ibutang ang mga filter, ang regulator, ang mga air moisture, adto na to siya ibutang kay dapat ang hangin nga mogawas ato ditong dapita is limpyo na padung sa ato ang valve. Okay? So, katong atong gidiscuss ron mga langga is wala to siya labot sa mga filter, sa regulator nga gamit o sa air regulator. Ang kaning regulator nga atong gisgutan is ang pag-regulate sa hangin nga dili siya nato ihatag as 100% sa ato ang actuating device like sa ato ang mga components like sa single acting cylinder or sa double acting cylinder. Okay? So, muna siya ang gamit nato sa throttle. Muna na pag-regulate na siya sa speed nga atong gigamay. Gikan sa 100%, gigamay na to. Atong giset lang sa 40%, 35%, 20%, depende from 0 to 100, you can set it whatever percentage that you want. Okay? So, depende na siya guys sa process nga inyong gamitan. Like for example, namoy process baron nga gamitan nga dili ninyo kinahanglan og 100% pressure from the air compressor. Okay? So maguba ang output kung 100% ang magawa. So that's the time that you inject. Okay? So within the circuit, you inject throttle baron kung ganahan ka same sa the percent pag-uli or ganahan ka nga i-extract ra sa device nga mogamay ra siya at 45% pero igbalik na ya 100% so mogamit ka sa one-way flow control valve. Okay? But if you want to have same input and same output, steady input, steady output at 50% only, so gamitan nimo ang throttle valve with the setup nga 50%. Okay? So ana siya. Any other questions guys? Yes, Jerome?
Miss, good afternoon, Miss. So,
Good afternoon.
Naka-submit na, Miss ba? Pwede pa mo resubmit, Miss?
Yes, langga. Pwede ra. Okay, pwede ra mo resubmit.
So, exercise 1 of 2, Miss.
Oh, okay ra. Okay ra, guys. Okay?
Thank you.
So, katong mga nakasubmit na, then if you notice, guys, sa inyong submission based from the instructions that I have today, so you feel like kanang namay sayop ato kay wako kasabot kayo sa video nga gibutan ni ma'am ya karon nga iyan ang gidiscuss so mas nakasabot na ko okay you can change, you can delete it. Okay, so atong klase guys is Monday, Wednesday and Friday man, so I'll just move it not Monday but I'll just move it to Wednesday. So I don't think so wala na makapasok Wednesday ha because it's already an ample time for you to do your activity guys. Correct, it's already fair enough na gyud nga nahatag ninyo until Wednesday. But not until Friday because Friday is your midterm exam already and that will cover the exercises that we have and also these 2 slides that we have discussed within the midterm period. Okay? Any questions guys?
Excuse me,
Yes,
ma'am.
Renalyn?
Kato bitang kwan, ma'am, symbol na pressure, katong circle, katong nasa pressure port. Nawa si ma'am. Nawa si ma'am.
Nalod na dyan yung...
Excuse me, ma'am. Ano?
Sorry guys, nawala ko guys. Yes, Renalyn?
Kato bitang pressure, ma'am, katong pressure nga symbol, katong sa pressure port.
Yes?
Katong circle mo ba? Okay ra ba to walay point sa tunga or dapat jud to siya naa?
The point guys guys is represent the whole, okay, of the air pipe. Okay, it's okay if you don't have it, but the next time, especially on our midterm examination, make sure you have point on it. Okay? And also for your exhaust port, okay rang makalimta ng exhaust port, basta ang importante mga guys, ang katog yung pressure port kay mo gid magda sa inyong actuations or actuate sa inyong device. Kay kung wala to, dili gid na mo actuate inyong device. Okay? So I'll consider for those who already passed nga walay dot sa tunga, but especially sa inyong midterm nga maabot, please lang indicate, make sure that you have the exact good na symbol for your air compressor, and for your exhaust port, and for your arrows for your 3-2-way or 5-2-way. Depende sa kinahanglan gamiton. Okay?
Okay, ma.
And by the way guys, wala ko kahatag ninyo og quiz again, but don't you worry, on your midterm exam, I can always take part 2 and part 3 as your quiz. Okay, so we're hitting 2 birds in 1 stone. A quiz and a midterm. Any other questions mga langga?
Wala na.
Is there any other questions, guys?
Wala na, miss.
Miss.
No questions na? Yes, Melvin.
Wala daw si Kwan karon si
Darwin kay Kwan. Anniversary, anniversary siya.
Si kinsa langga si?
Darwin Batukan, madam.
Darwin. Okay. So noted. Any other